The whole part of Satisfactory is to automate everything to the point where you don't have to do anything. So I thought to myself, I should beat the game with no factories. Let's go over some ground rules. Number 1. Everything that can be crafted by hand must be. Number 2, if it requires no power, then it's not a factory. Number 3, space elevator parts can be built in the respective machines, but no more than 1 per minute. Number 4, liquids and gases can be obtained, but only when I'm standing at the machine, quote unquote, operating it. For items that require power, only biomass burners can be used. Now for fun, let's go to the definition of a factory. A building or group of buildings where goods are manufactured or assembled chiefly by machine. Seems pretty easy to understand. So placing down a miner, smelter, and constructor to create iron plates would be considered a factory. Placing down a portable miner is not a factory, it is just a machine that will save me hours, actually weeks of time. Quick spoiler alert, it took me 115 hours to complete phase 1 and 2 with no factories. For the people who are illiterate, just like me, I don't draw a picture exactly what I'm talking about. I originally started this about 3 months ago and got into phase 2. Then they announced their 1.0 release date and I decided to scrap the video until then, throwing away around 30 hours of work. But now 1.0 is out and I want to try and be the first one to do this. I doubt I will be the first considering I have a full-time job and don't do this full-time. But I also thought, no one else is even going to bother attempting this, it's so dumb to even think of. After all, each phase takes 10 times longer than the previous one. It took around 10 hours for phase 1, 105 hours for phase 2. I can't imagine what phase 5 will be. Let's talk about some strategy. Since I'll be mining hundreds of thousands, if not millions of ores, portable miners will become my best friend. It's not altering or changing the ores, just merely picking them up for me to save myself the time. I will still have to make all the ingots and dozens of other items. I completed phase 1 on my own. It wasn't too bad, but it takes 40 minutes to mine and craft a full inventory of iron ingots right now. Only 40 minutes with a cheeky exploit. If you place a crafting bench on a node, begin mining but let go and activate the crafting bench, a neat thing can happen where you can still collect ore and craft at the same time. Without this little glitch, it would take me 80 minutes to craft for a full inventory of iron ingots. No factory is used in the process, therefore I will allow it. Along with the whole point of it literally cutting my time in half. It's not like a super exploit, it's just like a massive time saver for me in this scenario. After about 5 hours or so into the save file, I placed down my first assembler and put in all the required parts to make 50 smart plates for phase 1. Realizing the recipe makes 2 per minute, I had to find some slugs to discover overclocking in the MAM. Once I discovered overclocking, I proceeded to then underclock the machine by 50% to produce just 1 per minute, because we needed this to take a lifetime to complete. Just my biofuel burner and some biomass, and I had my phase 1 completed in no time. 10 hours, but that is no time compared to future phases. During the time when the assembler was working on my smart plating, I was also blowing through all the remaining milestones just for fun, having all of tier 1 and 2 unlocked by the time I was ready to send up the spaceship parts. Overall, phase 1 was really easy, and I wish the rest of them would all be this way, but unfortunately, it's time to suffer our way onto phase 2. Phase 2 begins to show us more complex things, such as foundries, liquids, and automated power. I did the math ahead of time, and just for these space elevator parts alone, I'll need a total of 60,000 iron ore, 25,000 coal, and 2,500 copper ore, not including unlocking all the tiers as well, which I ended up doing. If it takes 50 minutes to get 4,000 iron ingots with a glitch, and I'll need 35,000 iron ingots minimum, I'll need to fill my inventory 9 times. It will only be 7.5 hours, which you can round up to 8 including all the running around as well. I saw these numbers and knew I needed some backup. I called in one of my old friends. That was my first PC. Digging out of my closet, dusting it off, and firing it up. I made a brand new Steam account and bought Satisfactory on it, using my usual alt name, Pepper Stinky. It's a long story that does not matter right now. The first thing I did, I started building storage containers for all my bulk items. Iron plates, rods, screws, wire, cable, concrete, and a bunch of newly unlocked items. I spent a good IRL day getting everything bulked up, deciding to get all the tiers down before I began working on the space elevator parts. And that was a mistake to save them for last. Eventually using some of my concrete and plate to make a level area for my base and all my storage. Then I tore it all down and made a new one. Then I did that again. I was really indecisive with this menial project. Eventually I did get them all laid out in a way that would make everything relatively easy to get my hands on when needed. Once I got it all set up, I made my iron bitch. All day long collecting iron while I was out getting limestone, coal, and copper. Getting all my brand new storage containers completely full. I would find footage of him working, but I kinda don't feel like it. But you might be able to see his name once in a while up on the HUD. Hey, there he is. After several days of making ingots and getting an industrial storage container for everything filled, I began planting down assemblers, one for each part, and adjusted each of them to make one per minute. Let me tell you how much fun it was to fill containers with the required items, get enough biomass burners and let them make them for a while, leave, come back, restock the burners, and repeat this throughout 2 real-life days. 1 per minute, 1,000 items. That's only 17 hours of sitting around doing nothing. I was originally going to do one machine making 1 item per minute, but that was too much of a waste of time. It actually would have been 35 hours of wasted time. Let me tell you, as boring as it is, Pepper Stinky cut my time in half. It would have taken me 210 hours on my own, if not longer, due to all the running back and forth, along with filling a full double container with every craftable item. It's not hard work, but it's boring work. For the people thinking that I'm just making factories and then deleting them, you're clearly new and don't know how lazy I am to do such a task. For everything finally getting made and sending Phase 2 up the elevator, my jaw dropped once I saw Phase 3. 2,500 versatile framework, 500 modular engines, and 100 adaptive control units. This will require, just for the spaceship parts alone, 171,000 iron ore, 81,000 coal, 27,000 copper, 9,000 limestone, and 24,000 units of oil. Fuck! I already have a brief plan for it, but I will only continue this if people would be interested in seeing it be continued. I'm not really a big fan of wasting over 1,000 hours on a video and then it does bad. Here's the glitch I was talking about. Start mining by hand, let go and access the crafting bench quickly. You'll keep mining and crafting at the same time. Hey, that'd be a pretty good name for another game, I think. If you'd like to see this continue, please let me know. And if you want to help, you're more than welcome to. Join the link Discord in the description and send me a DM with your Steam ID. Pepper Stinky is beyond useful, but he can only do so much. I would also like to apologize for the video footage of the video being really boring. I plan on fixing that in the future if this is continued. It's just a bit of a task to make it interesting while also getting work done at the same time, because all I do is craft by hand, and that's very boring to watch and do, but I'm sure I can figure out a way if I must. Anyway, a like and a share would be greatly appreciated. And while you're at it, please check out some other videos. Quick unscripted rant here real quick. I am almost at 10,000 subscribers. As of right now, I'm at 9,910. I am 90 away. That is just insane for me to think of. That I started this back in January, and I'm already almost getting 1,000 per month with, you know, a lull of 3 months where I wasn't working, or not working on YouTube because of other stuff happening. But I plan to do an actual video for 10,000 in the future, but here's a small snippet of it. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I'll probably release the actual 10,000 once that happens. Until then, I'm going to keep working on the next Skyrim video, and I'm sure you're all going to love that one when it comes out.